What's up, y'all? I like to double check all the time. I have been on here, not with this particular software. When I was using StreamYard, I was on here live for an hour with no sound. So I always check. That's my thing. I always check. I never get cocky. We good. I never get cocky. I was
Ow.
a whole hour, right? And the way that the software worked, you can't see the Facebook comments. So I gotta keep my phone open to see the Facebook comments, but I can see YouTube and everything else. And people was on there like, we can't hear you. I'm on there. I'm, I'm going through a thing on there for a whole hour. Yeah, man, the such and such and this and that. They on there like, dog, we don't know what you talking about.
Oh man.
My guy, he don't need no real introduction, y'all. This is the brother Kahn. It's Santori. That's what I know him as. But he said, put the whole name on there, JP."
Yeah,
So,
Santori, my middle name.
okay, so brother Kahn Santori Davison, from I know him from Metro Times. He's done articles on me. He's done articles on a lot of big artists, and man, I'm talking about. It's not like when you see people outside of the culture try to tap into the culture, you can like feel it because I'm of the culture. I'm a Beach Street breaking all of that type of kid, and I was a baby. I was born in '84, so I'm of the culture. So when I read his writings and his write-ups, I say this brother understand.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man. And you know, man, I gotta give you your props because when we connected, you was deep in the music space.
Definitely.
And then you had a couple riffs, you know, with people out there, some situations you was trying to address. Then over time, man, you had a little setback, sit down for a minute, man, but you came back to the world, man, blazing, man. You went back to school, started business, locked down the family, bro. I'm proud of you, man. Your content, you constantly giving out, man, positive advice and real talk on situations and people, man. It's authentic. It ain't clickbaitish. It ain't like, let me just hopping on this topic because everybody talking about it. It's a raw and honest perspective, man. So I got to go, man. You you been building it, bro.
How do I go from introducing him?
I gotta give you props, man. I've been observing the journey, man. I gotta give you
Man,
props.
I appreciate it, man. And I'm gearing up to write the book. I may need you. I may need you, man. I may need some professional editing and some, at least a forward or something.
Oh
So
yeah, no doubt.
I got him on here to put him on blast, y'all. I'm gonna get Shaka Singer on here too. That's my guy. I
Yeah,
get Shaka
yeah,
on here.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I get Shaka on here and put him on blast too. So yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah. So for sure, man. Like I appreciate the literature and the art, bro. Like I really appreciate y'all as writers, and as much as y'all like my art, as far as what I do with music, it's the same appreciation because it's all the art. And if you see how I write, and like I just did a couple articles for Detroit Native Son, and my
Okay.
writing is the same way like my rapping is. I'm a writer first. I was writing first, and
Mhm.
then it was like, okay, I can't sing, so I got to be able to get the writing across. It was either spoken word or it was rap, and I'm like, okay, baby, is like I say, I'm Beat Street breaking, I'm all that. Let's get it. So
I hear you.
I want to basically how we ended up here, and we have conversations outside of here anyway.
Hmm.
But how we ended up here today was a post that you made, and the post was basically saying that when people aren't from the hood, when brothers aren't from the hood, we don't necessarily consider them brothers.
Yeah, the one, I had made. I don't know if you ever connected with Quack, but I had made a response to this comment. I was like, in Detroit, and I'm guessing other urban cities, once
Yeah,
we hear a street in the high school, we feel like we know your whole life story.
that's it. That's it.
But, and maybe that's not fair at times,
It's
but
not.
it's
Yeah,
just and we all guilty of it. It's an instant calculation. You know what I'm saying?
most
We
definitely.
oh, where you from? You said my with the Persian. Oh, okay. And that I mean we know we didn't.
That's bad, but that's exactly how it is. And it's like that with women. If you meet a woman, oh, what high school you went to? Oh, I went to King. You like, okay, she may be all right. Oh, I went to
Yeah,
Cass. Okay, she might have a little sense. She say she went to
right. And like we was talking about, if you say something like, well, yeah, I went to Rochester, I'm like, oh, And
You
yeah, but that the energy with that, people know, you know what I mean? But
definitely.
where that's coming from. Even when you're not trying to be offensive, you're not trying to be exclusive. So we all guilty of it.
Definitely. I had a guy that back like you say, we had riffs, and one of the guys was like, "Man, you went to Southfield Lathrop, and you used to wear casual clothes." I said, "I still do." I, when he said it, he was like, "I went to Lathrop with you, and you wore casual clothes." I said, "Yeah, I did. I went to church. I grew up in church. I did a whole bunch of stuff."
Yeah, you know what? That's the ironic thing. When you really dig into this a bit, and you just look at black culture and Detroit culture,
Mhm.
first of all, man, we were, late '90s. We all through the '90s, we were the most Gator, Coogee, silk shirt wearing, jitting brothers that will put a beat down on you in them clothes in a
Mhm.
minute. You know what I'm saying? And so the optics of certain things, man, a lot of our perceptions and us being judgmental, a lot of it did come down to where you from. Because we were casual, we was always fresh.
That's it.
You know, being fresh, being able to didn't mean you weren't able to throw hands at all.
That's what my point was when he said it. I'm like, dude, I already had
Right.
felon. I had felonies before high school. What are you talking about? Violent felonies. I've been juveniles, everything before high school. So when he said it, I said, yeah, I wear casual clothes. I got on casual clothes now. If you catch me on my live, especially here, this is in my house. I'm
Mm-hmm.
usually in t-shirts and jeans or shorts. I'm comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something, I like to put on at least a polo and some nice jeans. So when he said it, I'm like, do that discredit anything that I've done in my
Yeah.
life because I went to Lathrop?
Right. Come on. Come on.
And when you mentioned it, and shout out to Quack, I love Quack content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Quack is like a historian.
Yeah, indeed. He know things that our lives parallel. He knew as soon as that was going on in the city, I had no idea what was going on.
And sometimes I'm like, dog, he had to been everywhere with
Yeah,
everybody. Cause
yeah.
how do you get these stories? And then nobody like, man, dog making this up. You know
No,
what I'm saying? Like he really
not
is
at
in the
all.
mix.
Not
But
at all.
it's guys that's like that though, man. I know some guys like that. Like I know guys in Southwest. No
Mhm.
joke. I'm over here further east. And I bumped into a guy up the street. He say, "Man, my cousin know you." I say, "Your cousin know me?" He said, "Yeah, you from Southwest, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "They call you Jackpot." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, so they gotta know me." Like, you know what I'm saying? Most people know me from music, gonna call me JP. Most
Mhm.
people, you know what I mean? So he was like, they call him like, "Yeah." But when he said who his cousin was, I said, "Oh, that's my guy." Like, you know what I'm
What's
saying?
up? That's
But
what's up.
but it's just you got some
That,
guys that's literally east, west, south. They may grow up in a neighborhood, but they grandma over here, or they this. But if even it's not even just Detroit though, right, Con? Because if you think about it, they do that with Jim Jones. Man, you wasn't raised in Harlem. You man, my grandma was there.
New
Like
York with the boroughs, they will give you the breakdown from the look, the slang, everything. Difference between the Harlem cat versus a Brooklyn cat
yeah,
versus a Manhattan cat. They know like that. Oh, it's typical Harlem dude. To the characteristics of the person. The same thing we do here with us is really just East and West and the
east
Borough.
and west. Yep,
That
east and
that
west.
was really it. Other
Yep.
places, man, they're like, how do you, but again, you grow up in that and you just know that. It's like, how do y'all know?
But you do but it do kind of make sense. Like even though it seemed bad, it do kind of make sense. You're like, oh, you went to Mumford, and we thought Mumford was like the little, a little spoiled a little bit. Like
Yeah.
y'all people had a couple of street dollars at least. You know what I'm saying? So it
I,
just,
JP, I'll tell you the craziest thing. This was cool. I was in Orlando at the outlet. I went
yeah.
to the store. And I don't know why did the energy. It's just two of us shopping in there. I looked over to my man from Detroit. He had a bust out. I could, you what? I could feel it.
You could feel it. You definitely could feel it.
Just out the blue. I just looking like
Yeah.
I I could I didn't could we just bust out laughing, man.
Yeah.
I was
What's
like,
crazy though, what's crazy with traveling, especially like when you move around regularly,
mm,
Detroit anyway. You got to think as much as we like to think we everywhere, as
mm,
far as black people, we
mm,
really conjugate in certain areas.
Mm.
When you think about it, it is not all. We only 13% of the population, so we
Yep.
conjugate in small areas. So you will have Detroit, Atlanta, DC,
Yep.
North Carolina,
Yep.
Chicago. Like it's literally you, and you can kind of feel where people from. That don't mean that it's not Spickles or people in Cincinnati or Indianapolis. Whatever, they got little populations of black people, but for the most part, Detroit, what I'm saying, Atlanta, it's literally these
No, you're right.
populations. Oh, now we got a nice little, like, a lot of people migrating to Texas and moving to Texas a little bit.
Yeah, that
So
Houston and Dallas thing.
Houston,
Pop.
Dallas, yep. But even that, even when if you there, you gonna know Detroit.
Yeah.
My
And
homegirl was down there. They got a whole Detroit, like a clique where all the people from Detroit come and they meet together in Dallas.
they connect. That's dope. But
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
When you out of town, that conversation is a tad bit more intense because you out of town. But oh, you from D? Where you got? People be excited, man, and like, where you from? Like, man, 8 Mile. They gonna tell you 8 Mile used to go to the Sherwood, the E&J Coney, E&J Coney on 8 Mile, or the Sherwood Coney on Living on. Yeah. Where you from? Where you? Oh man, yeah, I'm from. I grew up in East Point, and the whole energy. East. Oh.
Close but no cigars.
But a mile
Yeah,
away. You ain't but 1 mile away.
that's it, and it don't
No,
make a difference.
you
I'm
don't matter. But the whole you can feel the energy shift. Like, oh yeah. Guess what's up?
now. This is what I think about when I seen it. When I seen it, I really thought about other things, right? And I tend to overthink some things,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, man, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I was a project baby. Like, so my attitude was always aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and it was times where I'm like, oh, they want to shun me for being smart, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of like the same concept, like, oh, you want to, like, and that's what you were talking about, having two-parent household.
Mm-hmm.
That's a normal good life. You should hope for that. You should hope that your children experience
Oh
both
yeah.
parents in the household. But for us, it's like some badge of honor to, I grew up on this. I'm a single parent. You know what I mean? I grew up this. We had it rough. We made it to where the struggle is more important than everything else. Like it's literally the struggle. Like we've put some kind of cape on the struggle.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, I would tell you this, man, from pure experience, it gets a tad bit deeper than that, man. I personally know parents that's having a hard time maintaining connection and relationship with their kids because you know they not getting the same kind of respect because it's the perception of, well, you had it easy, you ain't have to do nothing, whereas you know a cat from the hood, he want to make it to buy his mama a house. He want to get her out the hood. He done watched her work 4 5 jobs. He done watched her put up with no good dudes trying to,
Hmm.
he didn't visualize so many various different things that his whole goal is, man, I'm gonna make this woman sacrifice for me, and I gotta make sure when I get on, I put her on. Well, dudes that grow up in a relationship where everything is cool don't have that fire in that way. And a lot of times it's like, you ain't even did nothing. They ain't seeing sacrifice, they ain't seeing struggle. And to be perfect one, I swear, a lot of these situations, the mama don't get the same respect. Daddy don't get the same respect because
Hmm.
y'all wore shirts and ties going to work, or your mom didn't work at all. Y'all was, it ain't hitting that y'all had to hustle and buckle down and make this happen because they ain't seeing it like that. You know?
Most definitely. What if they see it? So with my kids, right? With my kids, my youngest, whose birthday was today, he
Mm-hmm.
was born a couple months after I went to the feds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's no way I'm not sitting around bragging to my kids about jail this and jail that. Like, I'm not bragging to my kids about gang banging and different stuff that I've been through. But
Mm-hmm.
if they see me now and it's like daddy a NBA or daddy of this, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
kind of hard. Now I got my oldest son is with my ex in Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
So he get a different story. Like when they be like, and they know him from the internet and me, being in the hood. He used to be in the
Yeah.
hood with me. So they be like, Cinco, man, your daddy this. And he'd tell me like, Dad, the such and such. Oh, it was one day he was at the park and
Mm-hmm.
his mom took him to the park. And he got into it with the little boy. He beat the little boy up. Cinco was fighting like every single chance he got. So he beat the little boy up, and the dude daddy come over there, little nigga, you know he going on Cinco,
Mm-hmm.
and his mama say, you know, that's Jackpot son,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, oh, that's Cinco. You know what I'm saying? From he see him on the internet, and he know me from around the hood. And he kind of put two and two together because
Mm-hmm.
I don't post his mama. I don't want nothing, I don't got nothing to do with her. There's no
Yeah.
reason for me to. So when she like y'all know whose son that is, that's such and such, and the
Mm-hmm.
dude apologized, and he ended up sending me a message on Facebook like, man, my bad, I didn't realize that was Cinco, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, it's all good. In my mind, it's cool. Kid stuff.
Yeah.
In his mind, this nigga gonna do something to me. Like,
Yeah.
you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
He
And
was
I'm
getting,
so
he was getting ahead of the situation.
so Cinco, and that wasn't the first time she went over somebody's house for Thanksgiving in the same situation
Mm-hmm.
where the dude was like, I didn't realize that was, your
Mm-hmm.
situation. And he called me. He like, bro, I ain't, same thing. It was her older son at the time was fighting the kids. And so to be out there, they get a certain type of view of me because I get a certain type of respect out there.
Mm-hmm.
But for my kids now, they be like, daddy is square. And I want them
Yeah.
to feel like that.
Because they only know this version of you.
Yeah, and I want them to feel like that.
Yeah.
Like I want them to, and then I'm loving. I watch movies with the kids. I'm
Yeah. I'm
chilling. So,
the same way.
but how do you? So, with that situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you say about the respect factor,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now you got to still balance it because you don't want to put on a front for the kids, but
Mm-hmm.
you do want to equate. Look, I had to go through certain things that y'all don't go through because
Yeah.
they got two college educated parents.
Right. Yep. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So y'all got two college educated parents, and
Mm-hmm.
we not riding around in Maybachs and stuff, but y'all don't want for nothing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And y'all don't need for nothing. Y'all straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with her and my mom didn't graduate from high school. Her mom didn't graduate. You know what I'm saying? They both were single parents for one reason or another one. So we came from a different situation, and we got a different respect for everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? But how do you communicate that to the kids who haven't seen that and may feel like we got 2-3 cars here, we got what I'm saying, they like, dog, we ain't walked to school,
Honestly, from being around kids in every level, from a part-time educator at times to a parent and everything else, the most effective thing I've seen is your kids being around other kids with the same elk and the same pans in the fire as your kids. You know what I mean? Because when everybody listen, when one Theo Huxtable is around seven others, that comparison ain't there, and you got other kids, they're not seeing the struggle be praised by other kids. They don't feel left out of that bubble or that energy. Because
that's
they
right.
got cuz coming around, oh my man, you know what I mean? And they can tell they getting a different type of dap. They getting a different type of shoulder hug because this is my man.
Hmm.
Me and his my mama, his mama grew up on PA on Pearson Avenue together. And
Definitely.
they don't feel outside of that. So that that is the only because it's not every kid in the suburbs like that. It's not every kid in a good family with two parents and having the life having the life everybody's supposed to have. You work hard to give your kid and not just monetary things, man. Like not have to worry about stuff, man. You
Yep.
work hard to make sure your kid he ain't there like let me cook my little brother some food while everybody not here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You put
Yep.
your family situation where they ain't gotta worry about that.
I tell my oldest that, I say, listen, man, I got cousins that's 3-4 years younger than me. My youngest brother is only 11 months younger than me, but I
Mhm.
got cousins that's 3-4 years younger than me, and if you talk to them, you gonna see, because my lady asked me like, they just love you so much. I said, because I always took care of them.
Mhm.
My mama was an alcoholic at the time. She been clean for like 12 years now. But at the time, my mama get drunk, pass out. I'm the oldest in the house. I'm gonna make sure everybody eat, make sure everybody good. Hey, y'all gotta take y'all showers. I just got so used to being responsible
Mhm.
because I had a grown up that had her own demons she was fighting, and she didn't have the opportunity to be responsible, right? So
Mhm.
especially you get drunk at 6-7 o'clock, you sleep by 8,
Mhm.
and and the kids like, cuz we hungry.
Right.
Like, don't worry about it, y'all. I'm gonna go burn these noodles up, make these hot dogs, burn the house down. But it's a different type of lifestyle. And my lady was coaching high school volleyball,
Mhm.
and you would see that some of these kids just growing up different.
Yeah. And us at our age, we can see it right away.
You see it.
You
You
see it
can
right
peep it. You peep it. You like, okay, she a little grown. Or the mom, why you can't go to practice today? You got to babysit. So yeah, that's cool, but that's not the baby daddy.
away. Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not the baby daddy. And then I've mentored kids where they had all of that responsibility. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's hard to be a kid when you got to do all of that.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is, man. And it's you be surprised. One, listen, and just like we talked about how every suburban kid don't feel like that. Every hood, every kid in the city ain't just trying to stay on their own side of 8 Mile and not explore nothing.
Okay.
I remember when one of the kids I used to teach and mentor talked about how the first he went to Eastern, man. He got himself into Eastern, and he was just talking about how beautiful the campus was, and he was talking about it, man, like it was the most amazing thing. But for him and where he was from, I remember him saying like it was just crazy to see stop signs that didn't have a bunch of teddy bears taped to them.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? He was locked in, like, yo, this is like, or listen, it's kids go to college from the sometimes this is the first time they had their own bed. And they like, and they ain't trying to like, yo, yeah, where all my Theos at? Where I'm trying to hang with y'all because I'm
That's
trying
it.
to level up.
That's
Everybody,
it.
yeah, everybody don't feel the need to establish some sort of alternative street persona because they want respect put on their name. You know what I mean? But there are kids, there are 100,000% kids going back 20 and 30 years that feel like they do. And the scariest thing is when those kids feel like they got to go harder than everybody else. Everybody else a little hard, but you got to be a lot of hard because
You're trying to prove a point.
you want everybody to know that you ain't going. You want to be the first one to punch it, the first one to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
You Tupac.
yeah, we all feel it. Like, like.
You grow well. As I grew up, I started to realize that, like my dude, whoever he around, and people think I love Pac, yo. I'm telling you,
Mhm,
I'm Pac out. But whoever he was around, he was the most that. If he was around the
that's
Black
true.
Power people, he
Yeah,
was
that's
the most Black Power person in the room,
real.
right?
That's true.
If he was around if he was around Suge and them guys, he was the most gangster blood and ain't you
Yeah.
whoever he was around. Digital Underground, he gonna have the most fun. They the fun guys. I'm gonna have the most fun. When he was around the artistics and the actors and all, he's
Hmm.
the most artistic and most outspoken, poetically drawn where whoever he was around, he was a real chameleon.
Hmm.
You get him around the street dudes, he's the most streetest dude in the world. I'm gonna shoot the police, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right. You're
So
right.
wherever and that he was like a real chameleon, and it took me getting to be like 30 and basically like changing my life and changing my mindset to realize like, dang, dog was really a chameleon. Like and no matter where he was at, the people who was into that loved him. The Bloods probably was like, Pac, one of us. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As you feel it, because at the end of the day, he's an actor.
Hmm. No question. Like I said, and we seen. Listen, like I said, we all done grew up or met him, and we could tell right away, like, why you trying so hard? Why and a lot. What you always hate to see is that kids going that hard when nobody else is really even on that for real.
Nobody, you
Nobody
tripping.
really. We just like regular kids that just live in the city. So you trying to establish some extra higher level hardcore persona is completely unnecessary.
but
Completely
but
unnecessary.
you don't know that as a kid. See, some of our insights are 40 plus whatever insights.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you a kid, is more of, and I try to relate to the kids, like especially when I'm talking to them or I'm coaching or I'm doing any type of mentoring. I try to relate to them and I say, I gotta give you space to be a kid.
Right. Yeah.
I gotta give you space to be a kid because your understanding different than mine. Because I've never felt the need to be a fake, but I have felt the need to be like, dang, I don't want to have this conversation here.
Mhm.
These guys they not ready for this conversation. Where I had to think like, nah, this, no, they don't want to talk about that. And I have found myself dumbing myself down. You know,
I felt that way too, and in that video, the clip I posted, I think I cut it off, but there's a part in there where he talks about that's why a lot of kids, when you ask them where they from, like you see, where you from? Yeah, I'm from Dre Road. Well, his grandma from Dre Road, and he claims the street in the neighborhood that's accessible to him, and that he knows will get him a certain that same dap and just really short, just that little bit of the street credit and respect that he see being passed around to the other cats in this particular space. You know what I'm saying? This kid may not he made him seen ain't been seen Joy Road a half a dozen times when when they go visit his grandma, but he can say that because he that's the first thing, like, cool, because he knows what that gets him. And that's why I'm saying sometimes it's so subtle. It's so subtle. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, especially out of town, it may even come back up. Where you from? Grew up on Joy Road. Oh, that's what's up. It may even come, but but you know what I'm saying? I would tell you what I did one time. Very similar to, but different thing, man. I went. I had never played like football before, like organized sports football. And sophomore year at DePorce, I went and played JV.
Mhm.
I never forget. This was the coach, man. The coach was Randy Huggins, man, who actually was one of he still is one of the producers and writers for BMF and Power. He graduated from DP and he came back to help coach. And they went around what they were doing. They asked the kids who played football before, because we was all freshmen and sophomores. And I noticed the kids that did had a little bit of favoritism to them because if you played, you knew the basics, how to.
Mhm.
And so me, I played before, and who they played for? Well, the team I knew, the West Side Cougars, because I stayed right by Mumford. I knew
West
I
Side
knew that
Cougars.
Mumford. And after a while, and I had one. It was one kid, Jamal. He looked at you. Ain't play for no damn Cougars. He's like, that's okay. I got you though. I got you. Like I ain't gonna say. It. But sure enough, as the couple weeks went by, I remember Coach Huggins. You sure you play?
Dog, that is funny. Like,
But
I don't know, man.
yeah,
You should have known that ain't where the quarterback.
but the reality, man, is that it was really the same thing. I saw a certain amount of respect they was getting, like, and I wanted to be looked at like, like I played, you know what I mean? I caught it real quick, the energy they was getting. I wanted in on that, man. I wanted some, okay, yeah, I played for the coach. People do the same thing, man. Kids do the same thing when they see how people get treated. Whether it's a uncle or cousin that come home. You know what I mean? They see the difference between a man that came home versus a kid maybe that's then graduated high school or college. I mean, they see the energy those friends, extended friends, and family members on the street side of things get, man. And I honestly think, man, there are a lot of kids, man, especially what we left out of all this, JP, is that those kids in two-parent households where as parents make the mistake of, okay, we out here, you safe. You can walk around, we ain't worried about you catching a stray bullet. And so now we throwing all our time and whatever our careers were. We trying to reach with the financial goals we got. So now,
Definitely.
even though you comfortable financially and you got good schools and good friends and you safe, in your own way, you still kind of alone. You still don't have you kind of still longing for a certain kind of acceptance, a cosign, a respect. And mom and dad, what they doing their own thing, and you ain't you trying to find that it to make you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you see, like you said, it's so many layers to that, and
Mm-hmm.
like even with being in the burbs, like I said, I went to Latham ninth and 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I went to four high schools, I believe. I went to Latham ninth and 10th grade. I went to I was in juvenile the beginning of 11th grade. Second semester of 11th grade, I went to River Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
First semester of the 12th grade, I went to Persian.
Mm-hmm.
I started off that semester in juvenile again, but I
Mm-hmm.
went to Persian, and then I went back to Rouge and graduated. So I like bounced around the city and seen the difference. But
Mm-hmm.
it was kids in Latham that was they wasn't it wasn't like the burbs, like how people like, oh, you was like it was guys like handle their business. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And so I've always had the attitude that it's not really where you from, or like I don't judge,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen that league kind of end up kind of bad where you like, man, dog, he a little, and it just end up all bloody.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
seen, I seen,
I have
I
to.
I told a guy this when I was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta a whole summer with my aunt, and it
Mhm,
was a quiet dude. When I say like this real like quiet dude, and
mhm,
we were in like a project kind of. We was like in the hood,
mhm,
and it was dude was so cool. He probably was like 12 or 13. I was a little younger. And he was the quietest dude. When I say I seen dude like black out and
mhm.
I hadn't seen that type of violence from somebody.
Oh, wow.
Like it like kind of like woke me up. Like you gotta leave people alone. Like dude was like the coolest dude. And when I say like he could fight, like really could fight. And I was
Mhm,
like, dog, you can't judge a book by its cover. Cause he looked square. He had his glasses on. He never talked junk. And when it went down, I'm talking about it was knees, it was so violent. And I'm
mhm,
like, dang. And you never want to be the person on the end of that to make that judgment
mhm.
and end up on that backside of that ass whooping.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And like I said, no matter what part of town you're on, you don't know what somebody dealing with at home.
Nope.
Emotionally, mentally, you don't know. And you get to poking that bear for whatever reason. You
Yeah.
decide you want to spark a little bit, start a little bit of smoke. You don't know what's gonna come out of that person on the other end because you don't know what they're dealing with right now. You don't like I said, no matter where they live at, you don't know.
So I feel like that's one of the biggest things with the city right now
Mm,
is a lack of emotional intelligence.
mm,
I feel like where people think everything is financial or oh, I'm gonna go start a business. I'm gonna go trucking. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, dude, y'all lack emotional intelligence.
mm-hmm.
You because with me, I think that everybody got a. I think everybody having a bad day. I treat everybody like they having a bad day.
I like that. Mm,
I do. I treat everybody like they having a bad day. If we in the store, you bump me, or I'm just, excuse me, brother, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm
mm,
literally that person. Like, no, my bad, man. It's all good. I
mm.
walk in, I might give you a compliment. Dang, man, they lined that beard up, bro. They got you
Right, yeah,
together. Boom. I'm disarming you off the rip. They like, dang, dog, all right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I feel that. My thing is, I was just talking to my wife about this, man. I feel like, man, especially when you get to people say under 25, under 30, under 25, man,
Hmm.
people are way too easily triggered. You know what I mean? Our parents and grandparents, to listen, the younger generation kind of maybe looks at the elders. Well, y'all was too stoic, and remember how the whole thing you get pulled over. Everything was not about showing emotion. You know, a lot of times the only thing our elders and grandparents had to give us was survival.
Yes.
Taught you how to survive, and you being capable of controlling your emotions and handling yourself, and not think everybody deserves an ass. Even if they deserve an ass whooping, they don't hand it out. That listen, that that was about survival. That was about
Definitely.
making it day to day because a lot of our uncles and grandparents, they hit you with that line, the world gonna beat you up. I gotta get you ready for the world because the
Gotta
world
get
gonna put a smack. You a black man out here in America.
you. Yeah.
The world gonna f you up. A lot of us grew up with that, and so and it was all up here. This was about making sure you mentally ready to go out there because when you get out there, man, I can't help you. You're gonna be on your own. Nah, everybody's triggered about everybody. Let's say is a crash out waiting to happen. And I'm like, y'all, that was like,
I'm gonna tell you something that you probably didn't think about with that, right?
hmm,
So with like maybe the war on drugs what was that 80 something 86 7
yeah,
whatever.
hmm,
So with this generation, like you got kids like me. My father died of an overdose in 85 when I
hmm,
was 5 months. So you got people that don't have a father
hmm,
or father figures,
hmm,
or if they do have father figures, like you say, everybody get into a bag.
hmm,
So if let's say my woman and I both have income, we both make money.
hmm,
But so I might be a little upset if we both out. So even if it's two of us,
hmm,
we can both be out getting to the bag. Cause my kids are in every sport. My lady in Florida right now with my daughter spending a gang of money. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I'm
Uh,
in the same
so
boat.
so we got to get to the money. It's so much going on that we both get into the money. So I might come home from work and I gotta cook. I might clean up a little bit. I might do this and that and that. And with my kids, they got so used to us doing so much
Mm-hmm.
that they do so little, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where
Same.
yeah, they do so little where I'm like, dude, why do I have to tell you to do this? Like, this is something that I would have done because I don't want to hear my mouth,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
my kids and got to the point where they got iPhones, iPads. Like I say, they
Mm,
spoiled. You know what I mean? So in their mind, okay, my daddy gonna come in, cuss me out a little bit, make me clean up, then I go back to my game.
yeah. Yeah.
It
So,
me and I explain this to my kids. I say me and my brother argue because we had 11 months apart. We had all our clothes was in the same drawers. We had the same drawers, the same socks. You know what I'm saying? We had a bunk bed, all our, you know what I mean? So
mm,
I'm explaining to them. I said we argue because we had to share things.
mm-hmm.
All y'all got your own TVs, your own games, your own. How do y'all argue? I don't want to deal with you. I'll go play my own game in my own room and mind my business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said me and my brother had to argue over the TV. It was only one TV. It was one TV for us to watch. It was one Sega Genesis and then Nintendo, whatever. It
Mm,
was one. I have 4 different gaming systems in my house, bro. Everybody got their own gaming system. And y'all all got your own phone. Y'all can Robux yourself to death.
yeah.
Everybody got iPads. Y'all got your own thing.
Mm,
There's no reason for y'all to argue. Nobody wear the same sizes. Nobody, it's nothing. Y'all like, we know your draws from his draws. We
mm,
know you know what I mean? So
mm-hmm.
with my kids, I say, y'all don't even understand it. I had to fight with my brother and we the same size. I'm big, bro. He feel like, bro, you're not about to boss me around. I'm the
Yeah.
same size.
Mm-hmm.
So with my kids and my fiance just joined. That's funny. So with my kids, I tell them all the time. I say y'all have separate things. It's literally if y'all argue, it's because y'all want to argue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all gotta want to argue.
Yeah.
But that in itself will stress me out. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? I've given y'all everything to shut y'all up and make y'all peaceful. How do I still got to deal with you arguing? It's almost like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it ain't every single day. Like we had a great day today, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You could say I want to show my kids how it is to work for something,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? I want to show them how it is to work for something. I had to work for it. I
Mm-hmm.
bought my first car. I tell them my kids got Jordans, all kind of stuff. I say, dog, and my lady be rolling. Why you always say I ain't have a pair of Jordans till I got a sack? I'm telling you, I ain't get a pair of Jordans till I got a sack. Y'all run around here. Yeah, they know all the names. How y'all know Jordan names and he came in the league in my life?
That's
I
funny.
want Jordan 4s. Like, boy, what do you know about a 4? My 8-year-old, I want some white Jordan 4s. You just turned 8. What is you talking about?
He 8. Run
You
them black,
8.
run them black pair fours to drop pops. Get the speaker down.
No,
You know,
listen, and to tell you, listen, to mess me up. Dad, the concretes come out Saturday. I say the who?
yeah.
My
That's
daughter.
like
No, go ahead. You
I
good?
was just telling a while back, man, because we talk about like I always make the joke that when my daughter wake up, she didn't already spend $100. When her feet touch the floor, I feel like it's $100 that been spent. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I like what you said, man. We because we do so much, they do so little. I remember one time, man, JP, the doorbell rung. This is like 6:30 in the morning. It was DoorDash for Starbucks,
Get out of here.
but she timed it the way we ordered it, so it'll show up when she wake up to get her day started.
Ooh,
I'm like, actually, it's a pretty cool idea.
that is a good idea.
But it's like the level of comfort you have to have and just your mind being so relaxed. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. Get my day. You know what I mean?
I'm
You
gonna
have
get
to
my day started.
you get to be such at a comfort level in your home place. You have no anxiety. No, you're not
None.
worried about nothing. Life is life. Life is gravy.
It's gravy. And this and even when it's a small thing, they act like they got a major problem now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and I tell my kid, I say, bro, oh, my daughter, man, my daughter, she is in Florida now, and
Mm-hmm.
I miss my. She about cussed me out today. I called her. I say, look, girl, it was probably about 5, and
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard from her. And me and my daughter kind of like talk a lot, so
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard from her. I said, what you had practice or something?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what you mean? I said, because I haven't heard from you all day. It ain't daddy. How you, daddy? I'm doing good. Daddy, I'm doing. And the little girl say, well, I was at practice. I said, well, did you call your brother and wish him a happy birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Daddy, I said I'm just leaving practice. Like she had like a little attitude. I said, ooh, and mind you, this is a 9. Well, she 10 now. This is
Mm-hmm.
a 10-year-old. So all I thought to myself, like, yep, I'm gonna have that same attitude when you call me and say, Daddy, can you cash at me? Can you do this? That's all I thought. When by the time we got off the phone, I was like, yep, she gonna miss something.
I know all about it. I know all about it. So yeah, that level of comfort set them up for. We set them up for it. We set them up for the level of comfort because you know what I'm saying. So and this is why things like that, man. And that be the part, like you say, when little things throw them off they square. Like your life is beautifully curated. You know what I'm saying? Life is beautifully curated. Like there's nothing that should happen that should throw you off your square because we know what the other side of life looks like. We know the kids that small things couldn't throw them off their square because there was so many big things they had to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And so that's why I always say, man, nobody, nobody has a rough in the black parents, man. You know what I'm
No,
saying? Because you damn near damn you damned when you do, you damned when you don't.
most definitely.
All every time, man. Because like I said, you say you leave the city for the same reasons leave the city. Safety. And don't get it twisted. Most people when they leave, 75% of it generally a lot of times comes with safety and the things that comes with safer neighborhoods. Okay, you can walk here and not get hit with a straight bullet. We have there is a Myers. We in a 2 mile radius of a gym, of a Planet Fitness, of a LA Fitness, of a
Hmm.
Myers, of a Walmart or a Target. I ain't got to get on the freeway to get the good groceries. This, what I mean, this, and is my buddy Kamal, man, he had made a really good point. We was talking, he said, kind of people act like a lot, like the whole just moving, leaving the city, moving out. Like we literally moved to just be treated like regular people. It's not most of these suburbs, unless you just heavily in the $600,000 and upside of West Bloomfield. Most times we just here because we just want like regular life and access to regular things that other families are. It ain't even affluent, it's just regular. Like your trash get picked up on time. That's regular life's expectations. But it's treated like sometimes like you didn't just overly leveled up. Oh man, they out there, hot damage. We just you know what I mean? Hey man, you got a dead raccoon. You can make a phone call. They come get the raccoon. Like, wow, this is amazing. Ain't amazing, it's regular.
It's regular. That's what's supposed to happen.
That's what's supposed to.
That's what's supposed to happen.
I remember, man, we moved. I think we had somebody cut the grass. He was like, you can write me a check. I'm like, wow. So I can write him a check.
So he
Amazing.
got his business together.
I can write a but that's just so is again, so we come out here for that reason. And so when you get some of the kids that we out here and they trying to get back there, you know what I'm saying? But then the other trade-off is like I always say this, man, nobody ever cares as much about you as like that one teacher in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That came up because I interviewed T Grizzly years ago, and of all the things about his story, people forget like T Grizzly had to be accepted to go to Michigan State.
Hmm.
He got in trouble at Michigan State. Y'all act like he was just there terrorism. He was a student. You never. And so I act like, how did you get into Michigan State? He was like, honestly, man, I was a pretty smart kid. I was in the hood. I was doing things, but I had that one teacher that was on my head. Like, nah, you gonna do this, because you smart. You ain't like the other one. She was on him, and you only get that in the city.
And you
And
do.
yeah,
Yep. And you
she
do.
she stayed on his head, and he ended up in state. People forget that part of the story, but he's credit like that. I had a teacher on my head, man. Every time, where you at? Turn in this, take this test, because she knew he had an it factor. She knew that up here he stood tall amongst a lot of other people. She could see it
Definitely.
in him right away. Like, he's smart, man. He got to get out. We got to get him out of here and get him there where he could do something. You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
only get that type of energy when you in the city. You ain't
Yep.
getting it in the bird. You ain't.
They don't care.
They
Yep.
just.
I had one.
Mm-hmm,
So I had two teachers that were like that. I
mm-hmm,
had Mr. Coleman, who was actually the superintendent at River Rouge, now Dr. Coleman,
mm-hmm,
and then I had Mr. Harris,
mm-hmm.
who Mr. Harris was like my English teacher. He thought I was like exceptional, and like I said, I've always been a writer, so he
Mm-hmm,
thought I was so exceptional. And before I finished school, I was in the streets, like selling. I was selling weed at school. Then I started selling crack. Like I was like a real street dude,
mm-hmm,
and like I could talk to Mr. Harris about it, but he knew my history too of being foster homes, juveniles, So he like, dang, do you know I was working at Wendy's? That was my last job. Was working at Wendy's, my last real job.
mm-hmm,
And I was 17 coming out of high school, and he came up there.
mm-hmm.
Mr. Harris came up there like the first couple weeks of the summer that year. And he was like, man, I said, dang, Mr. Harris, you came all the way up here. He was like, nah, I came up here looking for you. He
Mm-hmm.
said, man, I talked to some people down at Morehouse, and one of my guys down there in the entry, so you can come down there and I can get you in there. He said, you don't got to take the test.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a shoot a move for you. He said that you just got to get down there. You know what I'm saying? And he even told me, he said, man, if you need a little help getting down there, I'll get you down there. You know what I'm saying? Just get down there. And I say, man, get down there. I'm knee deep. I'm selling weed out the out the Wendy's. I'm bagging. Like I got my reputation. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I got kind of like motion. And when 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 I write my story and really write it out,
Mm-hmm.
that's the scary part is me being honest with myself about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the things that I've been through, people would like for me to say, "Oh, I didn't have a role model,"
Mm-hmm.
or "My dad died and no one took me under their wings," and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the truth. I've had people in my life that have taken considerable measures to make me see the light. You know what I mean? And I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And certain things always, like that moment when he came in there and told me that, certain things I'm gonna have to expound on, and I have to admit to myself these were turning points that I could have did something different with my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I,
And
I feel it.
that's yeah. And like you say, you really only get that in the hood.
Yeah, I had a I don't know if you ever heard he a writer poet been Reginald Dwayne Betts. Really
Okay.
awesome dude, man. I'll send you his math and website. But he went in, I think he was maybe 15, 16, went in, and it was carjacking. And he talks about how he hated. I remember him saying he hated the fact that when, like, trial coming sentencing, and his lawyer spent the whole, well, his father wasn't around. He started playing that card, and it irritated him because it was like, my father being around had nothing to do with me pulling a gun on somebody. My 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 naivety and ignorance and stupidity in that litany of events that got me here. Like you said, I wasn't lacking role models. I wasn't like that. That was me on. I was on something else. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? There was a structure there that I don't. You kind because you kind of feel like you're indirectly throwing those people under the bus. Well,
Yep.
no. There was people there that wanted to see you win. You was on something else.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel what you're saying, man. And it takes it takes a better man to admit such.
Yeah, but I had to get to a certain point. I'm almost at the point where I honestly address certain things in my life a certain way. Like
Hmm.
I don't have anything that I'm ashamed of or anything to hide.
Hmm.
And when I talk to people, they're like, "Man, you got to write your story." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Y'all don't understand how complex things can get
Hmm.
because my life wasn't simple." And like I grew up in a gang, not like I was 17 and joined a gang.
Hmm.
Like my family, like I literally grew up in a gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
when you talk about certain things with people and you like, I grew up in a gang, they think of it like a movie,
Yeah.
right? You Because in a movie you see a 12-year-old like, no, I was in a gang. Like I basically was born in a gang. Like
Hmm.
it was literally nothing else for me to do but be in this game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if people don't get it, and then especially with the way I'm able to communicate now, they
Mhm.
like, oh man, I'm like, no, I literally was like, this is what we do. This is the colors we wear. This is the star. This is this. Like, you learn in literature growing up, like how you go to church, like
Yeah.
with your grandmama. Like, it's different when you explain certain things to people, and when you get to a point where it's not an excuse, where you able to look at it and like, dang, this wasn't the right thing to do. This was something I had to overcome.
Mhm.
Right. So even in the streets, where we talk about the streets and the suburbs, or the streets and this and the streets and that,
Mhm.
like certain rules of the streets, when people hear me talk about snitching, they say, bro, you an NBA now, what's it to you, or what's this? And I'm
Mhm.
like, when I explain it, like, nah, bro, I just think it's a character flaw. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That is, I'm not dogging nobody. I'm not in the streets no more. You can go snitch on the whole country. That's your business.
Mhm.
Right. But it's certain things that's embedded in me. And so when we talk about me writing my story, those are things that I would have to address a certain way for somebody to even understand where I'm coming from.
Mm. I feel
Right.
it.
But
Yeah.
I had to understand where I'm coming from, because at a certain point, it was just F snitches. And, I'm just saying, I had to realize why it was so, so dear to me.
Real.
Certain things I've had to deal with on my own. And I can write it in raps and
Mhm.
make it make sense.
Mhm.
Right. But when you sit down and it don't got a rhyme,
Mhm.
it's different.
Yeah, that I, there's certain people that I mean, to a certain degree, I get more so this the no snitch argument. Listen, you a co-defendant in cahoots with a bunch of other peoples, and hey, listen, y'all was knee deep into something illegally together. Everybody takes the L.
That's how I feel about snitching. When people hear it,
Yeah,
they think,
that just was
your
because I.
grandmama up the street. No, she has a right to. I got a brother. Me and my brother got the same name. He the
Mhm.
third, I'm the fourth. My brother's a financial advisor. He's
Okay.
has nothing going on in the streets, nothing doing this. If you do something to my brother, he go and file charges on you and testify on you and do. I'm gonna be like, bro, go get him. You need support, brother.
That's
Right?
that's different. I tell you what, I had a, a cool interview, someone interview and conversation with a drunken master. We did
Yeah.
drunken master. And, he talked about like, yo, when the music game got slow, he already had street connections and went that route, to keep money in his pocket. And when it went sideways and he got caught with 20 keys. He said, yo, now he got out during COVID and all this, but he would tell you, I stood tall, man. I didn't take down none of my co-defendants. I got what I got, made my amends for it when opportunity presented itself for me to get out and get clemency. Thank God for it. But he, in that conversation, it came up a few times. I stood tall. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the one to say, well, it was his idea. You know what I mean? No, and you could tell like part of all things he's done, that when it was time for him to be accountable for what he did that got him incarcerated, he wanted you could say, I could sense he wanted in his story that, yo, I did mine, and ain't take none of my peoples down with me.
And he did. He definitely handled his business. I'm familiar with his case. I know one of his co-defendants brothers.
Oh,
And
okay.
so yeah, and they definitely commend him on keeping his mouth shut. So, but that's something that, so with our culture,
Hmm.
they want us to believe our culture is all bad,
Hmm.
right? They want us to believe that any of our standards are wrong.
Hmm.
Anything that we believe in is wrong. The problem is certain people are not communicating those standards correctly.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a problem when the standard is not being pushed to the public in a certain way, or they try to spin it a certain way, where we have certain standards, right?
Hmm.
A lot of times we have been neglected as a race, as a community, and as a people, because of our standards. When we should have been at war, we were kumbayaing and things like that,
Hmm.
right? So a lot of times our standards and our religious beliefs, or our praying, us praying to God and hoping that He gonna bring us out of something, it got us to the point where we so passive that we don't take up for ourselves. So when somebody say no snitching, and then the media, whoever run with it, like we saying, don't do this and keep your mouth. Like, nah, I would never tell people that.
Yeah,
I
but
would
you can. What people do is that we talked about one situation. We the situation in which yes, multiple people were in some sort of illegal illegal enterprise,
mhm,
and everyone decided, you know what, we all in this together, and nobody's going to step outside of this circle of this enterprise of what we established. They say, hey, them, not me. I tell the kid, look, that is way different from knowing somebody that may have put things in motion for a minor to be killed.
definitely,
Now,
definitely.
you know somebody that wanted some get back, and in the process, a baby done died, and you say,
Definitely.
well, I don't know, like, oh, hey, wait, come on now. That's when them two situations have
It,
nothing in common.
it's gotta make sense. So
Yeah,
I'm
one of them is
expect
honor among thieves.
definitely,
That's
definitely,
honor among thieves over here.
yeah.
This right here, like I said,
When
we got a baby, we got a minor.
yeah,
The-
people people act like it's so. History repeats itself.
Mhm,
We are looking at the same thing that happened. We're watching slavery all over again. We're watching it in a different way with the plantation being prison yards and things like that.
mhm,
Everything repeats itself. When we find out something, they figure out something else for us.
mhm,
And I fully believe in that, but I'm not a person that believe that, oh, the system is designed against us. We are stuck. We can't get over it. I feel like learn the system, know what's going on so you know your way around it. That's
mhm,
it. So if you in the dark with your eyes closed and you blind and you think, okay, I have the same opportunities as Johnny over there. No, you may have to work a little harder, and it's okay. Turn up. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? I feel like you need to know that your starting line is a little further back, so you're gonna have to run a little harder.
mhm,
Just know that. But when you look at reality for what it is, right, brother Khan,
mhm.
what happened with the slave trade and everything, and they said, well, they had to get us from somebody,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
right? They had to get us from somebody. They didn't just move. So now you got people that's turning on you, and I see history repeating itself with
Mhm,
the people that's in the streets. So I don't believe in um none of that, like the kids and all of that. This is how I believe in the streets. It's rules to the streets.
mhm,
And I've always abided by the rules in the streets.
mhm.
As far as the snitching go, ain't none of that. As
Mhm.
far as we not doing nothing to civilians, I
Yeah.
believe in that. Now
Mhm,
I was young and wild, and I may have robbed some people that didn't deserve that when I
mhm,
was young and wild, 17, 6, I was like
mhm,
a firecracker. But I'm
mhm,
saying as an adult, I'm not breaking in nobody's house at 18, 19, 20. I don't, with my cognitive thinking, I don't feel like anybody that had anything to do with earning their money legally deserve any street retribution,
mhm,
right? Any type of street issues. I don't feel like there's nothing that nobody should have to deal with.
mhm,
So if if I'm selling drugs on my block and Miss Williams down the street see me selling drugs on my block and she called the police on me, I
mhm,
don't feel like I need to retaliate against Miss Williams because I should have been slicker in the way that I handle my business to where Miss Williams wasn't in my business,
mhm. I agree.
right? I
Mhm.
feel like that's my fault. I'm gonna take this L because Miss Williams shouldn't have been in my business.
Yeah.
But what's going on is a lack of accountability. I hear guys say, "Man, all them telling everybody snitching, bro. You was just on live waving the drugs around like this. You had 6 guns like this. You got guns falling all over your live, and then you say, "Oh, they all here snitching." We dealing with people of a whole different. This is why I left the streets totally.
Mhm,
We're dealing with people
mhm,
of some of the lowest intelligence
mhm.
in the world, and all they want is attention.
Yeah. But
They-
before you go there, to your point, I like that you brought that up as far as um in the absence of not snitching, there usually in some communities an aspect of a self policing. Like what
Definitely.
happened? What they do? He did what to who?
Yep.
We'll go talk to him. You know
That's
what
what's
I'm saying?
supposed to happen.
And we go talk to him can mean a number of things. But I tell you what that reminds me. When I interviewed Zeke Williams in New Air, and when he talks about how he started, and he's like, 2015, and it was a serial rapist.
Yep.
And I'm looking to the left of me, and it's like, damn, that's messed up. Oh well, I'm looking to the right of me. Niggas like, dang, that's messed up. No, so dude out here raping old women and children. We ain't nobody gonna do nothing. You know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? Because and the thing when you think about it, more than likely, as the way as small as Detroit is, somebody probably knew who that was. You know what I mean? And whatever level they wanted to use to correct that, whether they knew somebody in the streets, like, yo, man, we somebody out of bounds right now. We got to get him out of here. We got to remove him. He doing stuff that's foul. However they wanted to handle that, like Z said, I'm like, oh well, you know what I mean. And that's when he decided, all right, man, this is crazy. I got to do something. And then that started him down the road of what became New Era. But I again, like I said, somebody knew who was doing that, and I respect the hell out of him for just because heck, I might have been one of the people like, dang, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? You're right. That's how we think. Nobody never thought to say, you know what, wait, man, that's like no,
It's bold.
yeah,
But
no, and that's
but
why
they
his thing is yo, whatever y'all street cats doing, as long as y'all ain't hurting no women and children and no old folks in this community, man. Do y'all
yeah.
hang without killing people?
But you gotta think, back in the day, you
Mhm.
had to take care of the community a certain way. You
Yes.
see what that's what I'm saying right now. It's a free fall. There's no leadership.
None.
So what you have is they call that CVI. I don't know if you've seen, I did a commercial for them.
Oh, you did?
Community. Yeah, I got a not for Zeke, but for the whole CVI
Oh,
Michigan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nationwide thing.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
with Michigan, they was like fighting for funding over the summer. So I was
Mhm.
working with CVI. I was just working with Raham Detroit and
Oh.
now and Team Pursuit. I
Mhm.
just marched with Zeke them on the east side.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm very familiar with that with Zeke. It's a couple of other ones that got
Yeah.
you got
Detroit.
Detroit 300,
Yep.
you got Detroit 300, and then you got
Force Detroit.
Force Detroit. So we all worked together all this year. Like
Mhm.
we've been working together doing a bunch
I
of
know you
stuff.
was locked in with them. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. We've been to Lansing. I've been to Lansing with them. We had a big thing in Lansing. I'm tapped in with the top people in Lansing. So I was working with that, but it's the people of my background.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So with us, like I said, with Raham, Team Detroit, I mean Team Pursuit, Detroit 300.
Mhm.
It's a few more. You got Ceasefire. I don't know if you're familiar with
I heard of
Ceasefire.
Fire.
So it's a bunch of them, and everybody work together. So what happens within even things like that? They still make us feel like we gotta, cause the funding now where we were. You see what I'm saying? Now it's, oh, we only have a $500,000 for the funding or whatever, $5 million for the funding. So
Mhm.
now you seem bigger than them. Now it turned into, it ain't even about the community no more. It's about fighting for the funding. Now I got to do this. So once again, they try to turn us against each other when at the end of the day, we on the same mission.
Yep, yep.
We on the same mission. They have Detroit blocked off into zones and areas of control for each of these groups.
Mhm.
And some of the groups do different things. Where with ceasefire, we went in, we actually, Chief
Yeah,
Benison was actually running ceasefire.
yep. He was the
You know what
point.
I'm saying?
He was the point man for a lot of CVI related things.
Yeah, but he was running ceasefire when
Mhm.
I went through ceasefire, and they end up, I end up doing a lot of stuff for them.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying, with things like that, it's like Death Row and Bad Boy,
Mhm.
right? It's like, why can't everybody eat,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
Because I've been around where Zeke could be doing something,
Mhm.
and when the kid got killed at the playground, we was
Mhm.
there. We did that. The news came out. Everything, boom. Fast as, if somebody didn't show up on time, it was oh, why they not here? Why they, is this? If somebody left early, oh, they only here for the cameras, oh, this and that and that. Like
Mhm.
we get to the point where it's way too chatty, where
Mhm.
it's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Where it's a bigger picture. I was with Zeke when Zeke was in Highland Park. Zeke had a spot in Highland Park. And
Mhm.
Zeke probably wouldn't even remember this unless I like brung it up and talked to him about it.
Mhm.
But before I went to the feds, like 15, when Zeke was getting started, it's
Mhm.
another artist named Miller Boy. I think Miller Boy invited me out, if I'm not mistaken. But
Mhm.
I marched with Zeke in Thanksgiving of 15 or 16, might have been 16.
Mhm.
Like Zeke came in with a plan.
Mhm.
So when people see Zeke now and what New Era has done now,
Mm-hmm.
People come into this type of situation and think I need to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that Zeke built up over 10 years.
Yep.
Over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke, even then, Malcolm X, some of his biggest strength is that he's a good speaker
Mm-hmm.
and his honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke, some of his biggest strength is he a big guy too, so that helps sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's a great speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and he able to be honest about something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, man, this is what motivated me. This is what brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
Other people see the motion, and they
Mm-hmm.
just want a part of the action.
Yeah. I would tell you what Zeke said that I really he said something to me that I started applying to people in different levels, man. Because he talked about, support. Like you said, people that see the action. And for whatever reason, they want to help. They want to
Mhm.
be a part of it. They want in. I asked him about turnover. He was like, "Oh yeah, turnover high." He was like, I had to. He said, I had to make my peace with it, and I just come to learn that people give me the best they got. Sometimes it's the best couple years. Sometimes it might just be the best day. Sometimes it's the best week. Like, all right, this too much. They
Yep.
gave me the best week, and I take that. I take that. And I started thinking, so you know what? I was like, if everybody you knew, acquaintance, friendship, family, to whatever capacity they could, simply gave you the best. They gave you the best they had. Whether they're your first cousin and locked in day one all the time. Somebody use me and you, JP, man. This interview, I rock with you. I got some things, but for this time period, get you the best I have, bro.
See, that's the best. That's the most you can ask for somebody.
Yeah, that's if you just take off all other expectations and just kept it at that. Man, you gave me the well. I thought y'all we is like gave me the best he had. It wasn't meant to be, last another 5 or 10 years, but for the time we worked together and collaborate, gave me the best, and I'm okay with that. And so I that really made me it really made me think, man, in this realm of where a lot of us we dealing with people online, offline, in person. People say, "Yo, JP, can you help me do this? I got this going on. Can you follow through?" You got to ask them, can you know what I'm saying? And you again, we all chicken. We all like, well, he acted like he ain't really want me around. When I asked him to do what he asked me, I did. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So when you did he get the best he had? Yeah, it was locked in, and then he fell off. Well, maybe that's all he had. He fell off, wasn't
That's all
personal.
he.
Maybe
That's
that
all
was
he had. That was all he had. But everything is how you is. No matter what happened,
mm-hmm,
like with what Zeke, like you said, Zeke just said, it's all about your personality.
mm-hmm,
Everything is about you and how you grown as a person, where you at as a person,
mm-hmm,
because you can be that person and say, man, this dude came around smiling in my face all week, and then I can reach him 2 weeks later, and blah 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 blah. You could be that person, right? Same thing with what you said. Well, if you make a post online, what I came to realize was you can make a post online,
mm-hmm,
and half the people could see your post and say, man, you a Uncle Tom.
mm-hmm,
Man, you were this. And then the other people say, dang, I get that. Man, that makes sense. And sometimes it's not your wording, it's not your volume,
mm-hmm,
it's not your inflection. It's literally where that person at in their life. If they are a person that feel like, oh man, the world against me, all these such and such is nothing.
mm-hmm,
And I told somebody, so basically somebody was making like $20 an hour.
mm-hmm,
And that's okay, man. I don't dog people for what they make. I can't survive off of that. I'm not, I got, you know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping
mm-hmm,
that if that's what your ceiling is,
mm-hmm,
more power to you. But the particular person felt like this wasn't a ceiling. So
mm-hmm,
I told him, you making $20 an hour because that's where your mindset at.
mm-hmm,
Your mindset is at $20 an hour. So if you want to make more money,
mm-hmm,
just change your mindset.
mm-hmm,
Your mindset is gonna make you go put in new applications or resume, whatever. You're gonna apply to different stuff because now you're gonna feel like $20 ain't enough. I need 30 or
mm-hmm,
whatever. You gonna go in there and feel that way. And somebody was in the room and they said, that's easy for you to say. You such and such. Like, I looked, I said, dog. It was literally like me giving a motivational speech right here.
mm-hmm,
And then this lady just started talking. That's easy for you to say. You such and such. I said, dang. It was two ways you could have took this conversation
Mm,
that wasn't even towards you, since you ear hustling. I said
mm,
you could have took the conversation and said, "Dang, JP did all this time. JP, you know what I'm saying? You could have took this like whatever it is that made him overcome everything he went through. I need some of that." Instead, you just shot down what I said because you know I make way more than $20 an hour, and you just saying, I'm talking about as soon as I finish, that's easy for you to say. Blah, blah, blah. Just literally got on my head about it. And I said, that's your problem. And that's why you making $20 an hour. But for the person that asked me, they feel like they should be making more and they have the ability to make more, but they stuck mentally. I did decent this year and last year, but
mm,
I want to make 5, 6 times what I did this year and last year. So I've been working on my mental
mm,
because where I'm at on my level, I feel like I'm mentally stuck. I don't feel like I'm stuck in my ability
mm,
or physically stuck. I feel like I'm mentally stuck. I
mm,
have I got stuff I need to clean out. Maybe I need to clean off under my desk and you know what I'm saying? Maybe
mm,
I need to clean up my office. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to change my feng shui. Right? That's how I feel.
mm. Yeah, that was an interesting response.
Don't listen, fast as I said it, and it wasn't to her.
Yeah.
Somebody else asked me something and they was making like $20, $21 an hour.
Mm,
And my response was it's a mental block. Cause
mm,
they was asking me like, dog, like basically, dog, you make this money and you do something. And I'm like, dog, it's mental. I'm
mm,
telling them my secret. I could have told you, pay me $10,000 and I'll show you.
mm,
I'm literally giving this to you for free. I said, man, it's all mental.
mm,
It's all mental. In my mind, $20 ain't no money. So I would never make $20 an hour.
mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't
So
got a problem with that. Yeah.
it's all mental. But if your mind, if you think it's okay, that's why you stuck at 20. So just work on your mental. I'm giving you the game. I'm not dogging you for making $20 an hour. I'm okay with that. If it's okay with you. I'm saying if it's not okay with you, get over some of these mental hurdles and get to it. Whether the mental hurdle is what's stopping you from going to get an education, a truck driver license, whatever it is to make you worth more than $20 an hour.
Mm. That's a that actually, man, is a little bit deeper, man. Insight to the culture, man. You get that because some people really feel some type of way. You know, I remember, man, when I one of my jobs out of college, I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car, and you talk about how somebody makes up a reason to be offended by you just by your presence. I never dude came in. You had to wear shirt and ties and shit. It was cool. I rented him a car, and we would talk to have small talk with people. You know what I mean? It was part of customer service. You don't just jump into business. Say how you doing? How you been doing? You watched that Pistons game last night. You know what I mean? Grant Hill went for 30. You know what I mean? It was part of building rapport with your customer. And so I just asked my man, what line of work he was in. Writing him up, asking what kind of car he want because he's asking it. And he was like, "Oh man, I'm in masonry, man. I ain't like you, man. I ain't really a businessman. Where'd that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like I rent cars.
I ain't like you
Like
because you got your suit on or your
right? Like I'm thinking, like that's like okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But again, I felt like dude just was really. But another thing is to your point. I tell you this, man. I had a very This is my oldest son, and I had an interact. I told him about an interaction I had with a guy. He was dreading going over to his high school reunion because he was a janitor. Now he was a highly paid cat. We talking 20 years ago. He's probably making not 20 years, but maybe 10 years ago. He's probably making 75,000 a year. You know what I mean? He's over a bunch of janitors, but he was like, man, I don't want to go. They're gonna be all talking about they stocks and bonds. Like niggas, well, I shovel shit. That's what I do. I'm like, man, calm down. They gonna talk about they. I remember my oldest son at the time was like, Dad, I feel him. Like you feel him? He was like, yeah. I think about. He was like, this time he was like, if you know Sheafy McFly, he was like, Dad, like your friend Sheafy McFly. I was like, and this is when Sheafy was early in his career as an artist and as a musician. He was staying in this two-family flat in Hamtramck. He was like, I'd rather be him. That time she didn't have a car. Ride his bike. You know what I mean? To
But
not,
Sheefy is Sheefy though. And if you around Sheefy, you see that Sheefy is happy.
yeah.
Sheefy, he got a whole vibe about himself where you like,
Right.
dang,
And my son had met. I did a photo project with Shifi involved, and so he met him, and he's like, man, Shifi really. He
he
was
cool as hell.
Yeah, he's like, I would rather be Shifi. I was like, so you'd rather be Shifi, with artist music instead of my man making 75 grand a year? He said all day. He's like,
Oh,
Shifi is somebody. I will feel just how he feel for
yep.
my high school reunion, telling everybody I shovel shit. I'm like, our generation, we were so built on that job, and
Yeah.
he makes 75,000.
That's a decent amount of money. That's decent.
That's
That's good. That's great. That's probably top 10%, probably. You probably in the top
yeah,
10, 12%. Like, what are you talking about?
like
And some of them that's stunting and fronting, right? Because
it,
I know
nothing
somebody
is
they
embarrassing
they
about
got a position and they probably making half of that.
and they
Yeah,
got a better title.
I'm the such and such. They got a
Yeah,
title. Yeah, I'm the such and such. Like, bro, if you don't go,
I never get that conversation either. But also, I felt that really showed a lot of the age because a lot of us were raised, man, you gotta get that job, get that, and shit at 75, especially when I was probably like. If you telling me when I'm about maybe 23, 24, got you a job making 75, like, I worked there for the rest of my life.
I'm here. They got a kick.
I
They
done
gonna have.
made it.
I'm gonna die and I'm gonna die at this desk.
I don't care what it is. 75, I don't care if I'm shoveling,
I'm gonna
shit,
die
going,
at this desk. If they
hit
want me to
my
work 45,000
I
hours a week, I'm in here.
can I get that sound of mate, you know what I mean? Because that was that,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think, man, again, when I said back earlier, when I said a lot of times us black parents, we have, we our job is harder than the people, and yeah, because that last generation go to school, get the job, get get that job, get that bread, man.
just
You
think
know,
about this though, Con, real quick.
mm,
It didn't even matter the job. You talking about a teacher? A teacher make $30,000. They telling you go to school. You could be a teacher. Like what?
yeah.
I can be a teacher to make 30, 35,000. Like that. I'm just saying. Like now you talking about you don't want to go because of 75.
I tell you what, my grandfather had this great. My grandfather was pretty good at a short visual to get through to me. He was like, "Huh, I need you to get a job to where you get off work. You ain't gotta take a shower before you take your old lady out to dinner.
Oh,
You can just pull up in front of the house in that convertible,
blow
blow
the
that
horn.
horn, and she come on out and jump in. And he would
That's
tell
what's
me
up.
at 12 years old. That was his line. And that was his
That's
way.
what's up.
That was his way of saying he wasn't one of them parents. And you a lot of parents like this. He didn't want me to follow his path in the plane. He worked at JNAP, the old JNAP, and he retired in 81. And he did not want a life for me to go to the factory and be on the assembly line. He ain't like, in his mind, like every father, you want your kids to take it up a different level than you. And he was like, hey, I'm just a black man from the South. I'm happy with life. But I want you to take it. I want you to get that big job and make some jobs for some more people. You know what I'm saying? He ain't wouldn't, and that wasn't not against anybody in the factory, man. He didn't want that life for me. But to make it enticing, to sell it, get you a job to where you ain't gotta take no shower when your old lady wanna go out to dinner.
That's
You
cold.
the paint it to sell it to me so I can see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I started like time value of money. I started to value the time value, like
Mm,
what my time is actually worth.
mm,
Right.
mm,
So if things like this, I like doing. I could
mm,
probably do these and get on here with people regularly. I
mm,
have better conversations on here. I don't even talk to people in real life for real, unless they like clients for real. My phone rung today is either my kids, my
mm,
lady, my niece's birthday today, so she texts me a little bit, or
mm,
clients. I
mm,
rarely just kick the bobos, right?
mm,
And I started to realize like if you don't value your time, other people don't value your time.
mm,
So when you go and I'm just back to the 20,
mm,
your whole life is almost around this $20. That's your value,
mm,
right? It's literally what your whole life is, even if you love your job,
Mm-hmm.
but you knowing that at $20 an hour, this is pretty much you having $20 an hour conversations after work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything is kind of equating to this.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have a $50 conversation, the next one might be a 10, 15, 15. It's going to average out to a $20 conversation
Mm-hmm.
because that's where you value your time.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk to people, I always talk about progression. So, which what your grandfather told you, maybe not fresh out of high school, you get that job, but that's an aspiration.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When I talk to people about 20, I don't knock people for starting at 20, but if you're comfortable at 20 and it's been 10, 15, 20 years and you're at 20, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it's time to do some reflecting and say, what is allowing me to settle for this 20, 10,
I
15,
like
20
the
years later?
perspective you put on it in just your time. It kind of reminds me. You ever hear that quote Magic Johnson had as why he don't do $1 million deals because it takes the same amount of time to
Same amount
do
of
a
time.
$1 million deal as
Yep.
to do $1 million deal. So
Yep.
why? So as crazy as it sounds for you on the outside, for me, taking time to facilitate and be a part of $1 million deal is a waste of time because that same amount of time I can be over here making $1 billion deal.
It's
You know?
all relative.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And so
all relative.
because you man, you wouldn't like, what's wrong making 12 hours? Well, for me, what do you do? Well, for me and my skill set, the same thing that you doing, in all respect, $20 an hour. No, I can do this, and heck, man, about quadruple that in about 3-4 hours.
That's
You
it.
know, you
If
know
even if I flip burgers, so if I walked in, this my attitude.
mm-hmm,
If I walk in and I flip burgers,
mm-hmm,
I may start at $12. I'm gonna come in and start where y'all start at.
mm-hmm,
But with my mindset, I won't be at $12 by the end of the year,
mm-hmm,
and I probably won't be at 20 by the end of the next year.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be in a position to where I'm telling you how to flip burgers for 30, 40, $50 an hour, because that's my mindset.
I would tell you how powerful that mindset. I got my cousin, man. My cousin has always been good at getting to the bag, whatever profession he was in. And I always like, this the mentality. If he applied for a job and they say, okay, the job paid 80 grand, and if you bonus out, it'll be 100. Also, we'll pay 100
That's
because
it.
what you
That's
tell
how I
me,
look.
yeah, because what
That's
you
how I look
tell
at it.
me is 80 and plus the 20. Well, I automatically, he automatically knew I'm gonna get that 20.
I'm
So the job
shooting.
paid 100. Yeah,
I'm
it
shooting.
wasn't.
I don't.
It wasn't even.
This is what people. So when people talk to me, right? This was something I had to learn how to do.
Mhm,
I would usually not say it the way I said it. I would usually maybe 5, 6 years ago I would have said it nicer, like, well, maybe you just, you need to just seek out something else or something.
mhm,
But now I know how to say it to where it'll make you think about it. Even if it's something that offends you right now,
mhm,
when I say, well, you got a $20 mindset,
mhm,
and I can break it down to you, it may offend you right now, but when you think about it, you're like, dang, that makes sense.
mhm,
Like you said with Magic Johnson, the
mhm,
the person that's operating at a lower frequency, when they hear something like that, they take offense. It's $1 million deal. I ain't turning down a $1 million deal. I coach people with business and stuff, but I also have a coach. Just
mhm,
like I have mentors and different people and it's a difference. But I have a coach, and it's an older white dude, and he
mhm,
been coaching me only for like a month now. But in our one of our first conversations, we went over my programming and all the stuff, how I talk now, and he was like, he said, Alvin, you saying all the right thing, you just talking to the wrong people.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
He said, tell me more about your avatar. I say, well, I only deal with business owners that's making at least 50 to 100,000.
mhm.
That's a base minimum. I said, I have people that's doing like 250, 350. I help them or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I don't even talk to business owners that make less than 3 million a year.
Yeah, he definitely. That's a different level.
He been doing it like 23 years. So
Mhm,
I didn't take it as, man, this clown dude. You know what I'm saying? I
mhm.
took it as, I may not be able to do that next year,
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
but I definitely need to work towards that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? But that's a mindset. When
Mm-hmm.
you have the wrong mindset, when somebody explain it to you like that, right, Con, you
Mm-hmm.
take offense. Now everything else they say to you, man, this nigga probably lying over here stunting in front and such and such. I had already did research on him. You
Yeah.
see what
Oh,
I'm saying?
okay. Part of the people, one, when people had that reaction to it, two things. A lot of times, number one, the ego is hurt, and a lot of times the ego, a portion of it is wrapped up into whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's really, and people can't necessarily just set to take criticism or just not even criticism, just to take that type of feedback or back and forth. Like, not you got to be just really good at just stepping outside yourself. Like I remember, like you talked about writing. One of my best writing mentors was Vivi France. She's a poet. She moved out of state years ago. She was phenomenal. But I remember before we met, and she was like, "All right, Con, I'm gonna tell you right now. Before we get started, because we did these workshops, I need you to take every single thing you know about writing and just throw it away.
Hmm.
We starting from square one. I need. That's what I need to do. This only works." She's like, "I'm not saying you never gonna use that stuff again. It's not important. I'm just saying what we about to go into is only going to work if you're willing to come through this." Because she
Mhm.
did that. Because if I spend more time, well, why you say this? Well, I learned the way we ain't getting nothing accomplished. In order for us to make the most use of this time and reach the goals we all know you have, you got to come in here with empty it out and come here like a brand new sponge.
Yep.
And that again, and that takes transparency. That takes setting aside ego. You know what I mean? That takes a willingness. Hey, all right, cool. Hey, man, I'm here to learn authentically. I'm here to learn.
Yep. And you could tell the difference. I'm able to tell the difference pretty quick
Mm-hmm.
from dealing with different business owners, even with certain coaches and people that say that they're, I'm a coach or I'm a consultant or I'm this and that. And you talk to them and they stuck on something. And
Mm-hmm.
when I listen to them, I say, oh, you got your minds already set up, but you telling your clients
Mm-hmm.
that they need to be a certain way. But like attract like. So a lot of times, if you close minded, you attracting closed minded clients,
Yeah, I would.
right? It's just what it is. Like, so now you dealing with a client, you like, man, they don't listen. Well, you probably don't listen too well either. They don't follow through. You might not follow through that well.
Got to be willing to act to come in and be that sponge and act like I remember I used to when I had started my photography business. I'll go to business seminars, based around it, and I would tell you would watch people. One of the biggest things that would come up, particularly in the world of wedding photography, where it'd be like coaches, business consultants, and they would talk to you is that they would break it down to the point they'll tell you how much you charge. So basically, you make about $25 an hour. Well, I don't make 25. My prices start at 3,000. You make $25 an hour. Once they tell you, well, how much you spend, how much time does your average client take? Oh, about 24 hours. And how much you pay your staff? Well, about this. Well, how much we got left? Now divide that by times the 24. Now you because what it is that he's telling you why you need to raise your prices. And
That's
he's
it.
telling you to raise your prices because $20 an hour ain't no money. Now
And people,
you seeing a big fancy number you charging.
mhm,
That's not how much and the point what it was that you are what your hourly which what your time into that hour says you are. I don't care if that number is $10,000. If it takes you a month to do the job, you make $20 an hour.
that's it. But you got to think like that.
You got it. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great. I
But
worked with it. I mean,
it take a person
it was
like
personal.
you got to be that type of person.
And when you really think about it, like it was very basic. Give me your expenses and how much money you got left, and let's take away taxes. And how much time are you putting into each person you service? You make $20 an hour.
That's it.
That
So
was it. That was
and
it.
you can do a number of things with this number. You could either speed up the process, you
Yeah.
could either charge more. They're going to tell you what to do. So people think that this is some type of rocket science when it's not really rocket science. I
No.
had a client today
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking to me and I've been dealing with her for maybe like 2.5, 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But today, in the session today, she say, "Jackpot is just so much. I'm going through so much, and this and that, and such and such, such and such." But she got four different hustles that she call a business.
Mm-hmm.
I say you gotta narrow this down to one thing. You stressing yourself out. You making a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you putting it all together. And you got a career.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get some clarity. You need to stop everything that you're doing for a couple days
Mm-hmm.
and get some clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It takes clarity. So clarity means I need to see where I'm going so I know which direction I need to go in, which vehicle I need to take, how I need to propel myself, get the gas, who I need in the car with me. You got to literally know I am going to this place. I know that I'm going to need to fill up twice on the way there. I
Mm-hmm.
know I may need an oil change. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You got to prepare yourself for the destination. You got to prepare yourself for the ride to the destination. And what are you gonna do when you get there? So when I deal with clients, and even when I explain to some people that like what dude said about the 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you ain't gotta you shouldn't be trying to. I say that's y'all problem. Y'all shoot so low.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all shoot so low. I would
Mm-hmm.
rather shoot at the $3 million clients and only get $1 million clients than shoot at $100,000 clients and get $50,000 clients.
But you know what, JB? That's why I was telling my son this. In almost every entrepreneur industry, the biggest swell is in the middle price points. You know what I'm saying? If you got a service and say the average price for your service, your coaching service,
Hmm.
on the high end 15,000, the middle 7, on the low end 2.
Hmm.
People I charge 7. Everybody is where you at.
Everybody.
Every everybody in the middle. The low you get what you pay for. It is what it is. You know what I mean? They're more quantity over quality anyway.
That's it. Let's get a bunch of people there.
But the high, that 15 and up, they don't need everybody. They one quality of client, and they understand. Listen, I only need 10.
I only need 10. So when he explained it, it
Yeah,
made so much sense. I
yeah,
started dropping off clients that week.
yeah. You're
Anybody that was a headache, anybody who took, if you owed me and I had to chase you down for payments and it
right.
was a history of that, I literally started getting rid of clients. Like that week I was sending out, you got 7 days to clear this up, you got this and that. And literally the next week I was, all right, one down. One down.
It's
You know
consistent.
what I'm saying?
It's consistent in every industry. Everybody, I know more people that will say life got better. Anxiety went down when they raised prices, and and I don't mean just obligatory raising prices. I mean I've been doing this. I'm a veteran at this, and I should have been did it. I
I'm
mean,
going.
yeah, right, yeah.
I'm
Not
going for it.
I'm. I just started, and I think I'm all that. I mean, you just learned the shit.
Yeah, people used to do me like that with the rapping, right? You
Uh,
get guys that I say, listen, man, it's only a couple ways you're gonna get paid from me.
mm,
If your following like that,
mm-hmm,
where I'm like, okay, let me tap into this following.
mm-hmm,
If I thought you was just that dope,
mm-hmm,
or if you were just, I just felt like I needed that.
mm-hmm,
I need this on this album. I need a verse from so so.
mm-hmm.
For the most part, man, I don't care about your verse. I will go rap. I
Right.
write a verse in 20 minutes. How you think I'm chasing you down? Like, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, if I paid people, it was because they had a following.
Yeah.
That was it.
I mean that's part of the game.
Yeah, that's part of the game, but that was it. I want to tap into your following.
I tell you what, on a hip hop level, one of my favorite people to interview was my man PL,
Yeah.
because he really took me through that mental process of, you know, he had it looked like it was going to be something when he went on his string of Freestyle Friday wins when he was on BET.
Hmm.
And it didn't turn into nothing like he thought it was going to be right out the gate, but it
Yeah.
was still good. And then they got, I don't know if this is a good idea anymore. And he took that pivot into the sports,
Hmm.
and had talked about. I really like the analogy when he was like, a lot of times in music, you live in life like you got to hit a half court shot all the time, and the music thing opened up to the point where if I don't go this route, I'm just ignoring layups because it's yelling at me monetarily. Everything about it is yelling at me. It lined up for me, and when I went in, and you got contracts with all the four sports teams here: NASCAR, golf, Monday night football. You know what I'm saying? It went, but it took to say, okay, you know what? Let me get out this trying to get a hit song type thing. Let me not take the pivot lacklusterly. Well, I guess I'll go do this instead. Let me go in here and give it that same energy I gave it when I was trying to be the next big thing, you know what I mean, on Billboard. Let me go get this sports work, you know what I'm saying? And did it, man. And and music is hard enough. Like I always tell me, music is hard enough as is. So when you can find a lane, whatever, or when that lane finds you, whatever that lane may be, whatever it may be, don't act like, well, I'd rather hinge my bets, on being, a big time star. Man, you gotta
And it's the same with business. With the concept of me, the guy named William, with me, and the way William broke it down to me.
Mhm,
Boom. Fast as he said it to me, I didn't argue. I didn't do. I literally. I'm talking about. It was like a movie where it'd be like, oh, and the sky
mhm,
opened up. I said, oh, that's the problem. And it
mhm,
ain't like I hadn't thought about it before, but this is somebody that's actually charging it and looking at my program. Like I got a full program, like a whole thing that's mapped out. And we went over it and he was like, oh, you got it. Like basically you the man. You're
mhm,
just talking to the wrong people.
yeah.
They can't, he said, and when he explained it, he said, first, they can't afford your services,
Mhm,
not what you really deserve.
mhm,
And he said, secondly, they can't afford to implement anything that you tell them to implement.
mhm,
If they're not making a certain amount of money, you can't tell them they need to hire a front desk coordinator. They're gonna say, "Oh, I can't afford that."
mhm,
Now you got a client that feel like you didn't do your job because they couldn't afford anything that you told them to do.
mhm,
It all makes sense. That's how you get a higher level of clients. I
mhm,
shut down my ads. He said, I don't run ads. He said, the people that's clicking on the ads, he like, how that's going for you? I said, they all tire kickers.
mhm,
I gotta chase them down, do this, do that, do that. He said, yeah. And then now that you raising the price, you definitely not gonna want to deal with them.
mhm,
He said, I get all my business from referrals. His website 2, 3 years old. So I don't gotta do none of that. Nobody going on my website.
mhm,
I get everything from referrals.
mhm.
$1 million clients coming from referrals. They're not about to come pay you $50,000 because you got a cute website. Right? They see somebody successful and they say, "Dang, how did you do that?" Well,
Yeah.
I worked with JP. Now you got, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, no question. I got consistent in every industry. I don't care if you make cakes. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It is consistent in every single industry.
every
Every industry, brother. I 1,000% agree.
That's right.
But
So,
hey, you got to attribute one. You got to pat yourself on the back for listening.
man, definitely. And I seen it and I did what I tell everybody else to do. I
Mm,
seen the Final Destination. I said, "Okay, I want to be executive and an entrepreneur coach."
mm,
Um, I want it to be like how you say 2, 3, 4, $5 million
mm,
people. And I said, "Okay, what does that look like?" I may not be able to do it this year.
mm,
This was only about a month ago.
mm,
I said, "But I can prepare myself
mm,
to do it next year."
mm,
And not only did he offer that, he said, listen, I'm going to bring you in as a coach with me
mm,
and I'm going to show you this. He said, I have a whole arsenal of tapes and videos of me coaching.
mm,
I'm going to show you what this looks like. He said, I'm going to get a contract. That's what we doing next week. And next week is getting a contract together with the
mm.
lawyers. So, to protect his intellectual
Yeah.
property and different stuff. So
Mm,
we working through that. He said, no, I'm not going to just tell you about it. I'm going to show you.
mhm.
Once he seen what I was doing, he's, oh no, you got it. You a natural. I got you.
He black.
He white, older white dude. Yeah, he an older white dude. He like 70.
Dang, that's dope. That's
Yeah, but he seen it. He was like, dog, you did this on your own. I'm like, yeah. He's like, dog, you cold. I got you. He like, I'm gonna show you how to do this, and I'm gonna bring you on calls with me. So
Yeah.
in the next couple weeks, he like, I'm gonna bring you on calls, introduce you as our coach and training or coach this and that, and I'm gonna show you how it's done. But it's basically what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
just with a different clientele.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot of times when people see you trying and they see you got it, like okay, you close, they'll they'll nudge and add on and try to help get you there. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? Because like I was talking about, like I done had mentors in writing and photography. I know photography. You know, my buddy Marco, man, he just saw me just grinding and was like, "Kahn, you almost there, but you just need to fine tuning." And I've passed this on. The fine tuning meant I went and got a shirt that said Kahn Santori Photography on shirt. I had the kind of business cards you can't just crumple up. I had pens with my name, phone number, and website on it. I had presentation folders. So when he said you almost there, he was talking about the business acumen as far as
Hmm.
presentation materials, like that stuff is send you, you know, and to a certain degree in business, as things because so much communication now has become digital, I yeah, I've had a hard time adjusting because you know my business was built very on an interpersonal level. You know what I mean? Consultations and handshakes and material. I mean, nah, man, business is you free this day. Yes. What's your deposit? What do you take? Okay, cash app sent.
It's got to be that. Even that, we went through that
You know what
where
I'm saying?
he,
You
yep.
know, you and for somebody who you know had made my way all kind of business, whatever conducting business, I had made it a personal thing. Now, especially the younger the client, the personal aspect of conducting business, business is just business. And if y'all become cool and it can lead to bigger business, so be it. But
So be
now
it.
it's less consultations. We got to meet for. You said you was open. I know you got you was a referral. I sent you the money. Yeah.
That's it. Oh, and what happens is like this. How he explained some stuff to me too in a different conversation.
Mhm.
You remember when we first talked about getting on here, and I was like, "Well, I got to put it on my calendar, such
Yeah.
and such the calendar,"
Yeah.
and that was something that he talked to me about. He said, "If you're not running your business like a business, people don't respect it like a business.
Yeah. 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 Yes.
Put it on your calendar." He
Mhm.
said, "If somebody he said if somebody is looking to hire me, they're expecting a proposal, and they already understand that this is gonna cost a certain amount.
Yeah.
Everybody shouldn't feel like they can afford your services,
That's true.
right? If you got that type of service, if you got a service, now if you want to go keep wrestling with the bottom feeders, that's cool. But if
Mhm.
you have a high value, high ticket service,
Mhm.
people should understand this may be out of my price range. They don't get sticker shock when
Mhm.
they call, or if they've talked to somebody that work with you, the person that work with you, they not saying my homie gonna hook you up.
Mhm.
That's all bad. I don't want you to tell people about me and say, man, JP gonna hook you up. I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Khan gonna hook you up. That means somebody looking for a discount.
That's funny.
Like he told me, he said, man, he said the people that we work with, they're expecting proposals,
Mhm.
invoices, and calendar links because they do business every day with proposals,
Mhm.
invoices, calendar links.
I agree because like I still send receipts, and people are like, "Oh, you send a receipt?"
That's it. Handle
Because so
business.
much, yeah, so much of business is you know I missed the person. It took me a while a while to get used to that as far as how to still make it personal with you know with people being just much more guarded of their time, no, and nobody wants a long consultation. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
know, that was an adjustment for my business. And I've had a lot of that same talk with other entrepreneurs where they were used to conducting business like that. Man. I remember my first photography mentor, Mr. Burns, older cat, you know, and he knew it, his thing, he would put that grandfather on you.
Hmm.
You want to do it, I just bring me in. He would sell them on the old wise guy that's knowledgeable about this, that, and the other, and it would work, you know. But I would say this was one thing, JP, and you've heard this because Johnny Burns, man, he used to run Detroit Audio. It was on 6 Mile. He had a bunch of them. Had one in Green Acre Shopping Center. years ago that was on Greenfield. He had one on 6 Mile. Then at the record store thing when he got into custom framing, he was my first photography mentor. Always did photography, but I think as time went by, when things went digital and social media, and as you got older, and I can say, man, I'll be 50 next year. Keeping up is a real thing.
Gotta
Not
keep up.
technology wise, but just the shifting how business is conducted.
Yep.
You get older and you got your comfort zone of how you book people and how you just conduct business, and things change. Clients are younger, and even older, and people adjust to current ways that communication is handled, business is handled. I see how people. I can honestly see how people get older and struggle with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then and you have, to a certain degree, you have to adjust certain things, or you will get left. I JP different. I had a great corporate client,
Yeah.
a great, and when they would bring me out to do things, I gave them A1 service and an A1 product. But I lost that contract because I never took the initiative to introduce new things. Like, I never said, "Hey, you know what? I see you're doing this at your thing. I could bring a drone out and I could do this." And and it only cost you extra $2,000. They would have said yes. Never did that. They think I had to do it. I had a,
Comfortable. You
I had
got
a
comfortable.
at 5 years. I'm making 2-3 gigs a year, a couple thousand a gig. I'm A1, they A1. But yeah, when I lost that contract, it's because somebody did just that. It wasn't money. Somebody brought in things that I could have done to introduce it, newer things. Hey, I see, I can do some printouts and I can do some embroidery this, and you know what I mean. And I learned. I learned. I was like, damn, I could have did, but I didn't take the initiative to say all they could have did is say no. We thank you. It's a great idea, but we just keep doing what you're doing. But maybe next year,
Hmm.
do that. I didn't do that, JP.
Yep. Yep. And that's why I like, even with my clients, I just sent some of my clients, I know that they credit decent. I
Mm,
sent them funding. Like, I got a funding partner, and she reached out to me like this week. She like, JP, you don't promote funding enough. Like, is she cold? And
mm,
she like, you don't promote funding enough. I got another funding partner that's a brother, and he say the same thing, like, bro, you got to promote. I'm like, bro, I be like, kind of like, I go with the flow. I don't go with like, let me go solicit.
mm, mm,
Even when I post content, it's more of a natural thing to me. Like, I'm like, let me do this. But when you got situations like that and people are like, dude, you got the following.
mm,
You could look, and somebody like what you said, it was something that you could do. It's people that have a smaller following than me that's always making offers.
yeah,
They always making offers.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
on there talking about Diddy today. Somebody on there like, look, are you looking to put six figures in your business? Somebody like, yeah, me. So I just posted today and was like, who want funding? Between a couple of my pages, I think like 6 people was like me. I just shot inboxes before I got on here.
Mm,
I'm like, okay, here's the link. This is what you do. We'll call me if you need me. Out of 6 people, if one person get funded, I'm gonna get a check
yeah, that's all it takes.
from one post that I
Yeah,
just cross posted,
yeah,
right? But like you say, if you don't make the offer,
yeah. You got to make, yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta make the offer.
And I think there's something to be said to where even when you have a clientele, loyal clientele, keep them abreast of what's going on. Hey, this is out now. This is what we're doing now. We can keep this what we've been doing every year, every month, or whatever. But I know y'all online. I know y'all see this, so just let you know I'm tapped into that too. And this is the cost range will be this. Let me know, because again, somebody come and do it and wow them. You didn't have them in your pocket.
Yeah, but you get another. Sometimes even with that,
Mm-hmm,
you get people that really, man, people like haters.
mm-hmm.
People be haters, and then even
Oh,
if you do something, they find somebody else that do it. Like, you do photography, they find somebody else. Now it's different if your cousin code and they do it too. But
mm,
if you know I do photography, or I'm a DJ, or I'm this, and I'm dope,
that's
and
that's
I'm dope,
that's different. That's
and
different.
I'm dope.
That's why I say corporate. because corporate, you really dealing with people making business decisions.
Yeah.
Even if it's a personal tie-in, we got this because you work with family. There's a referral aspect to it, but in the end, these are decisions that are signed off by the head of this department and the head of this department. And so like you deal with business owners. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And there's a level to you dealing with a business owner that maybe he running 13 franchises to maybe someone that just got he good, but you gotta do my man over here at a different level. And
And
so
you gotta, yep.
yeah, there's options and there's things that he gonna be much more willing. He ain't to consider. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't, or like, yo, this man about business. I got to make sure that he knows that I know, and we stand abreast, or somebody come in and show him a portfolio similar to mine with a few more bells and whistles. He may say, JP,
Hmm.
he may test you out. Have you heard about? And once you say, I ain't up on that yet.
It's over. Yep.
You expose yourself.
But that go back to what William said with about the 3 million, right? And even then, you package your product
Mm-hmm.
to make sure is valuable to them.
Yes. Yeah.
When you sell into a lower ticket, a lower income, lower revenue based client,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to put in 10 hours a week for that $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of make the program tailored to them. But if you know I'm shooting at these million to $3 million a year per people, okay, they're gonna want to do this. And it don't mean you have to do more of something. You just have to present more value.
Right. Right.
Right?
That's true. The funny thing, man, is that another thing that's consistent across businesses is that the lower tier the client, the more needier the client.
Yep.
We, every creative, every entrepreneur talks about the person spends the least, has the
Yep.
most questions, harasses you
Yep.
the most, inboxes you the most. Can you do it? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? The person on the higher the tier trusts you. Just make
That's
it.
it.
Just do what you.
They do due diligence at the beginning. They
Yeah.
might ask for a couple references
Yep.
and they gotta let you roll. Because I missed a client last year. This
Mm-hmm.
was one of the bigger clients that I would have had. This client is making a couple million a year. And
Mm-hmm.
he's an Italian guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy he called me from Google
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Hey, I have a mutual friend." And basically, he looked me up on Google and seen that, okay, boom, dude, okay, yeah, they say you okay. Anyway, this guy said, "Listen, man,
Mm-hmm.
he was an older Italian guy. He said, I've been around the city for it was like 45, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right?" So he like, okay, bet we get off. So he
Yep.
was like, real quick, he said it's like 40. He like, man, I've been around like 40 some years. He said he been working with one dude for like 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like his guy. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, he passed. And the guy offered me an opportunity and I sent him a low ball offer like I was sending a regular person. I'm like, man, let's just try this out for a few thousand a month or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't heard nothing back from him. So that's just because I put together a package based on the price that I wanted to send him,
Yeah.
and he was expecting something that would have been closer to 5 grand a month, something like that, because that's what he was used to doing. So when
Mm-hmm.
I sent the package, it was $1,000 package because that's what I was sending, and I should have sent the $5,000 package,
Yeah.
and I literally dropped the whole ball.
Yeah. He like, oh no.
He
Oh,
don't understand. Yeah, he not
yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
need to go deal with them little dogs. I'm over here on something else, right?
Hmm.
All right, all right, man. It was
I
good,
agree,
man.
man. It was good, man. We covered a hell of a lot, bro.
Didn't we?
We talked about a lot.
Didn't we?
We we gotta do this again, man. We do this again, man.
Definitely, man. So I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm gonna clip this up and make sure you get the clips.
Oh,
And
cool. Appreciate
yeah, I'm a email you a Dropbox or whatever,
it.
Google Mailbox, whatever. But man, I appreciate you. It's been 2 hours, bro, and I had a long day, and still, it was a good conversation. You see, I don't talk to nobody.
Yeah, it's all good. And like I said, man, you've been doing you've been consistent, man. You've been
Thank you,
doing
man.
your thing, man. It's when when was that article? Was that around maybe 2013, 2014? When was that? When I wrote that article in Metro Times on you. How long was it? Was it
dang, 14 or 15, one of the two.
Yeah, okay. I know it
Yep.
was about a good solid at least 10 years.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's
It's
what's
been
up.
a good 10 years. Ups and downs, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no question.
you.
All right, JP, man. You have a good night, bro.
You do the same thing.
Okay, man. Take care.
For sure.